Hello, and welcome to Project Displaced interview series. No one is alone from displaced to placed. My name is Rowena Moraes, and I'm so pleased to bring you this collection of interviews with the people behind Project Displaced. What started as a simple desire to help people in one person's network has grown into a movement of more than 78 people who support displaced workers in all industries across Australia for free. Now, these interviews provide a deeper look at the people who work tirelessly behind the scenes, bringing their passion, expertise, their experience, and their commitment to bear, all with one thing in mind: to support the idea that no one is alone, not if they're prepared to reach out for help. Now, my guest today is David Vincent. David is a coach and a Project Displaced Limited non executive director. David combines 25 years of experience as a senior leader, both in business and HR roles, and he's passionate about coaching people through all stages of their careers to realize their full potential. David, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks, Rowena.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm fabulous. All right, so let's dig in. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a business coach and management consultant, and I set up my own business just at the beginning of COVID, and I was really fortunate to get some really good clients, and then COVID hit and everything slowed down. So I've learned a lot over the last 2 years or 18 months about what it takes to be prepared, what it takes to be resilient, and the fact that there's nothing wrong in going out and asking for help from people. I live in Victoria, in the outer suburbs of Melbourne, in a place called Alinda, which is in the Yarra Ranges. It's a wonderful place to live. It's very quiet and semi-rural. Spend my time at home with my partner and riding my horse.
Oh, excellent. So, what brought you to volunteer at Project Displaced?
I was fortunate through my career that I had lots of career coaching and career support. And I didn't realize that I had that fortune at the time, and I kind of took it for granted. Then when I left my last organization, I had some career coaching and some more career support. And it was through talking with a colleague of mine who'd set up his own company. And we were talking around how fortunate we'd been working for a big company to have had exposure to so many different aspects of career coaching, but also so much exposure to different divisions and departments within a company. And we were talking about how lucky we were, and there's a need to pay things forward. And he mentioned to me that Project Displaced had just started up. So I phoned and said to him, like, can I help? How can I help? I've got some skills. I've got coaching skills. I've got HR skills. I know that I'm in a fortunate position, but and how can I help other people how can I share some of what I know with other people?
Okay. Well, job seekers across Australia have been stood down, lost their jobs, and, many are in financial distress. So, what are some of the key things that you're working on through Project Displace to support these job seekers, sorry.
Job seekers, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few things, I think. At an individual level, I coach, so I provide career coaching and advice on LinkedIn and resumes to help individual people. We're also working with a couple of other of the team in Project Displaced, and we've built up a series of webinars so people can come online once a week, and we run a half-hour webinar on a different topic. And that helps us help more people in one time. And I guess the other thing is, as well as helping people on one-on-one and group basis, also on the board of Project Displaced, trying to work through how do we create more services? How do we create other ways that people can find out about Project Displaced and other ways that we can help? One of the key things that I'm exploring is, how do we let more people know that Project Displaced is here if they need us? We know that we use LinkedIn really well to reach out to people, and we're quite good with some Facebook groups to reach out to people.
Okay.
But the people in my LinkedIn network are in one area of LinkedIn. And I'm sure there's a much broader LinkedIn world out there that we need to tap into. And then there are people who might need our help that don't even know about LinkedIn. So we need to find and constantly need to find other ways to get our message out, and for people to know that they can contact us. I've spoken to people who on Facebook. I've spoken to people whose day jobs before COVID hit were in service industries and hospitality industries, and they weren't constantly sitting in front of a computer all day, every day. And some people aren't connected on the internet the way that we all assume everyone is. So finding other ways for people to hear about us, finding other ways to connect to people who need our help is really a big focus.
Okay. Well, you have probably had many conversations with job seekers. If you were to look back now at some of these conversations, what do you see as some of the biggest challenges that they are facing today?
There are a number of challenges that I think people face, and for me to say what the biggest challenge is, I think would be disingenuous, because I think everyone's challenge is the biggest challenge for them.
Of course.
Some of the frequent things I see
Yes.
are the number of people um, who have not been in the workforce for a while, or have not had to change jobs for a while, and the way they talk about themselves and the way they talk about the job market is disconnected from the way the job market is now, the language the job market's using. So, I talk to a lot of people and say, in the past, we used to talk about customer service and change management, and now we talk about customer experience and customer journeys and transformation management and business transformation. So the same things are happening in jobs, but they're called different, they've got different titles. And I think one of the things that strikes me that a lot of people are challenged with, if they haven't been job searching for a while, is that there's been a real shift in the job search process and a shift in job language. We do a lot of work in Project Displaced to help people see what these new words mean and how to describe yourself in ways that recruiters these days are expecting to see. Another challenge that I see quite a lot of is people who are not clear on where their skills are. And we run a lot of sessions for to help people identify where their skills are, and what they're good at. And one of the things that constantly amazes me is how people have blind spots about the things that they're really good at doing, and it's quite obvious. So, for most
The
of us,
things they're good at doing?
yeah, the good things they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
people. It's very. It's an old saying in coaching that anyone can talk about the things they're not good at doing, but people are very challenged to talk about the things they're good at doing. So when I coach people, I try and find the things that they're good at, and help them see the great things that they do and the skills that they have. Because as human beings, we find it much more easy to be self-critical than to self-praise. And so a big challenge that I see lots of people have is being able to identify the things that they are good at doing, and translate that into the work experience. I actually spoken to a few people from the performing arts, and people who have been members of orchestras. And they talk about, well, how could I possibly get a job in corporate world because I play the violin or I play the cello? And I talk them through the fact that you've been a member of a team. You have to have amazing time management skills in order to get to rehearsal on time. You have extraordinary stakeholder management skills because you need to deal with all the members of the orchestra, the hierarchies within the orchestra. You need to make sure that you've got a good relationship with the conductor and the manager and with the management team. And you have customer service concepts around that, around the performance. You have an understanding of your self-disposition and your contribution, and just helping people to translate that, the things that they're good at doing, but don't accept that they're skills, because to them it's natural. Of course I have to get on with everyone. Of course I have to make sure that I'm on time for rehearsals. And if you're a gig worker in orchestras, you've got to manage multiple different timings. You've got rehearsals, you've got performances, you've got PR work that you need to do. So you have to manage quite a complicated schedule. And helping people see the connection between the things that you do in your existing job are skills that are transferable and help people see their strengths, I think, I mean, it's a very fulfilling thing to do. But it is one of the biggest challenges that I see people have. And COVID has caused so many people to need to reevaluate their career, because so many career pathways have been jeopardized and will take a long time to come back. And helping people see, you know, what you're good at can translate into this industry or can translate into that type of work. Unfortunately, one of the other challenges that I've seen is some problems that people are having with their mental health. I went through a mental health first aid certificate training so that I could be more used to people who I noticed were having some challenges. And it is unfortunately something that we find is increasing in prevalence over the stresses and strains that people have gone through because of various lockdowns that keep repeating, and job insecurity and employment insecurity. And so a challenge that I do find happening quite a lot is individuals need to get some support for their mental health. It's great that Project Displaced is able to provide that help on a limited basis, and we always obviously offer people support and direct them to medical professionals or to institutions like Lifeline or Black Dog Institute, just to help people when they actually, if they're in any degree of crisis. So there's different types of challenges that people have. I think
Absolutely.
the challenge of the way CVs are written these days in the modern language. It's the challenge of knowing where your skills transfer, and it's also maintaining that mental health balance.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, it's the final question then. And I know that we've probably covered a little bit of it, so you can feel free to expand. Why are you doing what you do, and what do you hope to achieve with this?
With Project Displaced? So
Yes.
at a couple of levels, I think personally why I do it is because it's important to be able to help other people. I really do appreciate the fortune that I have in life and in my career, and that has come mostly because I've been coached or mentored from other people. So I call it the karma pool. I've taken out of that karma pool in my life so many times when I've needed some help, and people have been there to help me. It's important for me as an individual that I find ways to give that back to other people. I believe that everyone should be able to make choices in their life. And I think that the ability and the right of choice is something that is limited because of opportunities in education, opportunities in society, and opportunities in the workplace. And so in this way is one of the ways that I can help people to create choice in their life, by giving them some skills in job searching, giving them some confidence in how they can use their skills in different areas, and how they can use the tools that are out there like LinkedIn and their networking to help them create more choice in their life and get the career that they want to have. From a Project Displaced perspective, I know that the initial reason that Project Displaced started was because of COVID, and was because of the sheer volumes of people who are being displaced from work with no support. And the unemployment rates in Australia shot up dramatically. They've now come back down to levels that are quite on par with where they were before the economic impacts of the lockdown happened. But still, on a day-by-day basis, I work with people in my other roles where they are impacted by the economic impacts of slowdown and lockdowns, and they do not have the opportunities to get work.
Yes.
So there is. We talk about the fact that there are about 900,000 people in Australia who are unemployed. And at one end of that spectrum, there are individuals who leave work and have either the organisational resource or the personal resources to get the support that they need with coaching and career counselling. Other parts of that demographic, there are people who get some support from the government in terms of career seeking support that various state and federal government agencies do supply. but not everyone's eligible for that. And so in the middle between those two, I guess, pathways, there's a third group of people who don't have the resources, may not qualify for support from another agency and need help. And Project Displaced really is here to help those people, because even though the overall economic impacts of COVID will end at some point, there is still this structural element. And this is what we found. There's a structural element within the Australian workforce where there are always people who are not as employed as they need to be or want to be, and who do not have access to the resources that can help them succeed. And Project Displaced is there for that. And what I'm hoping to achieve through Project Displaced is to help to create this organization that is going to be there in the long run, and is going to be there to help people when they need it.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
David,
Finish my tea.
for chatting with me today. And for our viewers, if you are interested to know more about Project Displaced, please visit us at projectdisplaced.com. Thank you.
Thanks, Rowena. It's nice talking to you.
Good talking to you too, David.